Hey, everybody, welcome to It Tastes Different Appetizers. Today, we are going to talk Soulja Boy and how he just bought Atari. Dun, dun, dun. Soulja Boy, a rapper, never heard of him, so it can't be that freaking good, and I know all about rap. Has a video out stating that he bought Atari. Atari was so oppressed by his Chinese knockoffs that he was selling that never released with his business plan that they offered him the company of Atari for $140 million. So let's dig into here and let's just shovel up the shit. Pat, would you like to start?
Yes, I'll grab the shovel first. I don't know what to think here. This guy is all over the place trying to break into the gaming industry, as Shane had alluded to. I can't remember, it was 2019 or 2017. He tried to sell some
19
handheld gaming console and a console. And they ended up turning out, but I mean, he tried to sell them for like double the cost of what they were. So basically they're knockoff of ROM consoles. So there was some ROM consoles that got put out by this manufacturer, and they were, I can't remember, I think they were like $90. They were like $89 and $69 respectively from the two. And he tried to sell them for like $99 and $149 and had vague descriptions about random AAA games coming to this thing and 4K gaming back in 2019 for $149. And a couple of people basically ripped this thing apart as being a reskin of those consoles put out by these ROM makers. And from what I understand, the consoles were also weren't lawful because they were not licensed ROM. So basically, was selling a console that was technically not legal in this country. Because I don't know if anybody ever got one. I couldn't find when I was looking through my article, but there was a lot of lack of features on the handheld console, and it didn't really have a whole lot of information on it. It was just vague AAA games coming to this console and 4K. So I don't know what to think of it. This guy seems to just be a little bit off his rocker because now he's claiming he owns Atari, and then Atari is, coming out on Twitter basically saying, we know it's a dream job, dude, but it ain't yours. And he somehow presented this contract that said he was going to get a bunch of the Atari tokens, which is their cryptocurrency, which is valued at nothing right now. So, I mean, it's a nickel. If you want to buy into it, that's when to buy, right? You buy low, sell high. If it makes it to $1, you can get rich, But I don't know what because he did produce a contract in his Twitter page that showed that but it was all aimed at marketing. It wasn't that he was the owner or CEO, but he's making all kinds of outlandish comments in his video that he posted that he's the owner of them. I mean, I guess the guy doesn't quite understand how corporations and publicly traded companies work, that, there's a president, not really an owner of the companies leading the board. If they're publicly traded, the public owns them, type stuff. So I don't know what he's thinking or how his thought process goes, but he was just telling everybody to go to Atari, follow Atari. He's got Tom Hanks and Chet Hanks going to sign up and do all this cool stuff. And then Atari came out on Twitter and said, no, you don't own Atari. And
they're making
right?
Forrest Gump the game.
It's going to be like Paperboy, except for it's Run Forrest Run, the game. But so I don't know what transpired. I mean, maybe he had some type of marketing deal with them, but he misinterpreted the contract, which I don't know. I don't know what his thought process is, but the contract he showed looked pretty legitimate, had a lot of information about if the coin trends over $1, he gets a million more. If it trends over $2, he gets a million more tokens. I mean, a million of a token that trends at $1 is $1 million. And if it gets to $2, he gets a million more. So he's like doubling his money and stuff like that. Doubling his tokens, which doubles his money. And he can just very well dump them as soon as he gets them, which then tanks the price. But who knows what this is all about? Atari, if Atari did have a contract with them, he's basically blew up on his Twitter and said he's done with them. He's not doing anything with them. But he also said that he's selling his Soulja Boy game company for $140 million. And I'm like, from what? Did anybody actually get a console? I don't know. Nick, what do you think about this, man? And do you know if anybody ever got one of those Soulja Boy consoles?
Hey, crank that Soulja Boy. Yeah, this is, I mean, watching, because he has a YouTube video out there talking about this, like Patrick said. And I mean, it's ravings of a lunatic in a sort of way. Like, I don't know if he has, I'm not sure what his idea behind all this is, even with the Soulja Boy console and all that stuff that he tried to do. I mean, those same consoles, you can go to AliExpress and find them for the cheap. You can find the exact console with the same information. I mean, like, he didn't change much of the information at all. It's pretty much the same info. It's like copy paste, stick a Soulja Boy sticker on it and sell it for $200 when it's like $80. And a lot of those ROMs have Nintendo games on them, which you know how Nintendo is with ROMs, So, I mean, he's putting with those, he's putting himself into potential legal, a legal process with Nintendo, as well as whatever else is on those ROMs by selling these things. And as far as I know, I don't believe anybody got the Soulja Boy console or Soulja Boy console. I don't think anybody got them. If they did, it was a small margin of people that actually received this product. Because as far as from what I've seen online, most people did not receive the product. And I don't know about how they're doing with refunds and stuff like that. If they're getting their money back, if they went through PayPal or something like that, they might have an easier time. But, if they pay with a debit card or credit card, they might have a more difficult time. So, yeah, I mean, this guy is just trying to make a quick buck. Soulja Boy had pretty much one hit, which was Crank That Soulja Boy. That was, that would play it on the radio, and, that was kind of his number one hit. And then from there on, there was nothing really else. So it seems like he's just trying to make a quick buck here and there, saying and doing whatever he can to make that quick buck, even as ludicrous as it is to say, I own Atari now. No, you don't own Atari. It's not that simple. You can't just go in there and be like, I'm the, unless you bought the most shares, because I think it's a publicly traded company. So if you bought the majority of shares, then sure, you're a shareholder now that makes decisions, right? But becoming the CEO or president of Atari, good luck with that. You can't just go in there and be like, I'm Soulja Boy, make me CEO. That is not how it works. So, this guy, maybe he needs to go back to music. I mean, I don't know if he's still releasing music tracks or what he's doing nowadays, but he's definitely been trying to get into the gaming business. And, really, if he wants to get into the gaming business, well, he just make his own gaming company. He could create a gaming company, hire people to make games, and, kind of like what Vin Diesel did. Vin Diesel had that gaming company that actually made some pretty good games.
Don't forget 50 Cent also made a couple of decent games too.
That 50 Cent, Sand in the Blood or Sand in the Time, Blood in the Sand. That was a great game. And so was, with Vin Diesel, Chronicles of Riddick is a fantastic game. So, if you're a celebrity and you want to do something like that, you could definitely do it. But there's a better way to do it than trying to buy some cheap knockoffs or say that you are the owner of a company that you're not an owner of. Build a game company, buy the rights to a game company, start hiring people to make games for you, and you just sit up there and and don't do anything while they make video games for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Private Kid is just trying to make a buck. I mean, that's all it is. He's trying to use what fame he had from that one song he made. And he's trying to stay with some money. He's trying to stay relevant. And it's like, if you have the money to sit there and the video he made, for instance, it's kind of hard to see the home in his background, but it looked fairly nice. But it was hard to tell because all you could hear was the plastic rattling around his neck. So it sounded like freaking ice in a tea jug. It was annoying. But, he's just sitting there trying to make a buck. I mean, his consoles he was releasing was a con. It was a scam. He had a cease and desist put on him, trying to release those in 19. And for, good reason. Anybody who buys into this bullshit, it's their own goddamn fault. And unfortunately, I think that's the time we're in, is that it's okay to be a piece of shit as long as you're making money. The kid who, scalped all those consoles and made like $2 million. No, he's not a great businessman. He's a piece of shit who hurt others to gain for himself. And that's what's happening with a lot of our businesses now. And it's bullcrap. But this kid is trying to whatever the fuck his name was, Soulja Boy. He's trying to make a buck. He's trying to keep his name relevant. His YouTube video, it was just desperate. Because he made shit up on the fly. He's not the owner. He's still probably making house payments. So shut up. You ain't got $140 million. That's just, it's sad. It really is sad. When he made Who Let the Dogs Out, he should have just stopped there and went home.
That would be the wrong rapper, Shane.
whatever song he made, because obviously it wasn't that great because I didn't dance to it at the club.
So he's got, I will say that he's got quite a repertoire. I think he's got like 10 chart toppers songs, but he's not put out anything that's reached the charts since 2010. So he's kind of been irrelevant for the last 11 years in the music industry. He's not put out anything that's like chart top. He could be still making albums. I don't know. I don't follow him as an artist or his music or anything like that. He's not one of the music people that I listen to. But he made his fame with music and stuff, which like Nick and Shane had posted. There's actors and song artists that have made video games. Do that if that's what you want. But he does have Soulja Games, which I don't know what they do, if they're an official company. But he's got that as a Twitter handle and all kinds of stuff. I don't know what they're trying to do, but he doesn't own, unless he went out, because Atari is doing really bad on their stock right now. I think it's like at 40 cents a share, 42 cents a share right now. So it's doing pretty bad. It jumped up there earlier in the year when that console was coming out, the one that is kind of a disappointment, I guess, because it tanked. Their stock tanked again.
Yeah, the Atari VCS.
Yeah, the VCS. For some reason, I kept wanting to say CVS, but the VCS, they should have called it something else. But it tanked after that kind of release. And so it wasn't doing very good before anyway. I think it was around 40 or 50 cents before. Console, they were talking about their VCS and it's about to come out and the stock went up and then went right back down. It's like, because everybody finally figured out what it really was. And it was kind of something similar. It's a ROM-based console, and nobody really wants that. They want something that can be sustained because you're not going to throw anything new on a ROM-based console. And as Shane had pointed out, his initial foray into here of double charging an Ali Bari or whatever that console was, it was coming out of from AliExpress. He was reskinning it and he got a cease and desist because there's like 3,000 ROMs on there. And I'm like, how are you going to get the license to sell this console that has Nintendo ROMs and all these other ROMs? These companies are just going to give it to you for free. But they were like, nope, cease and desist. If you sell any of these, we're going to take any bit of money you have left. So, but he just needs to start his own game company. And if he wants to create a console, cool. Go and do it the right way. Stop trying to make a quick buck, as Shane pointed out. You want to make a video game? Cool. Start a development company. Create your own video game. Do it the right way. Stop trying to make a quick buck. And who knows what this Atari thing is, because what he showed in the contract looked legitimate for a marketing contract, not a majority owner contract type stuff. It looked like a marketing. Like if you can make the Atari Bitcoin, the Atari coin, over $1 per coin, then we're going to reward you with 1 million of them. And if for 30 days, and if you can get our Atari coin to $2 or more for 30 days consecutive, we're going to give you another 1 million. And if you can reach the next milestone, which was $3, another 1 million. I mean, come on, guys, that's a pretty good deal. If we're going to give you if you get $3 a coin, and I'm going to give you 1 million of my coin, that's $3 million, guys. I mean, come on. And plus the other 3 million he got before. So now he's got 6 million coins. He can make money. Because if he was smart, he'd buy probably a few million himself right now while it's really cheap. So if he thinks he can skyrocket that coin up there, then he should be doing that. But I don't think he either misunderstood what the contract was about or was just trying to think that they would let him get away with some type of marketing scam, because that's what it would be, in my opinion. If their coin went anywhere, and nobody at Atari had spoke up, in my opinion, that would be a scam. And they'd probably have the federal securities agencies against him for that type of fraud. If he said, I own this, you need to go here and follow this Twitter account, follow these guys and follow this, and make sure you go buy some of my Atari coin so that we can all get rich together. And then they come to find out that Atari didn't step in and kibosh those rumors or anything like that. There probably would be some type of securities fraud involved. So hard to say, man. Hard to say. I don't know what this guy's deal is. But when I saw his console a couple of years ago, I was like, this is a huge scam and ripoff. I can go to, as Nick said, you can go to AliExpress and buy one for half the cost. I think it was even less than half the cost. It was like $60 or something. But it's illegal in the US because those ROMs are not licensed. So you could get in trouble for having one.
Yeah. Atari, came out and said, basically said, we know that the CEO of Atari is a dream job, but that honor belongs to Wade Rosen. I'm pretty sure that's not Soulja Boy's name. So you've been demoted. So quit scamming people, you turd. It's sad. It's sad. And, if this guy has the ability the imagination to make music, I'm not a big rap fan. I made jokes, but I'm not a big rap fan. It's not my thing. But if you have the ability to make music, if you have that imagination, you probably have good ideals to make a game, as Nick was saying, as you were saying. Make a game. Start there. Work your way up. Prove to people that, hey, if you can make a good game, then maybe one day you could actually make a console that's freaking yours and not some Japanese, Chinese ripoff, you turd burglar.
One day you could become a real boy.
You could be a real Soulja
boy.
Yeah, maybe you should enlist and earn that money responsibly. So, but
yeah.
Does anybody else have anything to say about this numbnut?
Yeah, I own Atari. Not you, Soulja Boy. I own it.
Wait a minute. I own Atari.
Crank it, Soulja Boy.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that bell for the notifications. Like it, subscribe it, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your granny. Until we see you next time. See ya.